KP classes dedicated to excellence.
Hello everyone, good morning and welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss PYQ of GPSC examination. तो आपको पता ही होगा कि GPSC ने कुछ vacancies निकाली थी कुछ महीने पहले and the exam is going to be conducted on 5th of October this year, that is 2025. So you have less time for your preparation, and a very important part of your entire preparation for this examination is PYQ solving. So in today's video, we are going to look into the first paper and the first part of it. We will continue this series. Okay, so let's begin. Question number 1. As per Census of India, place becomes urban if it has first, more than 5,000 population, more than 75% of which are engaged in non-agricultural occupation. Option A. Option B. More than 5,000 population, more than 75% of which are engaged in agriculture occupation. So overall, the difference is non-agricultural and agricultural only. Next, less than 5,000 population, more than 75% of which are engaged in non-agricultural occupation, and less than 5,000 population, more than 75 of which are engaged in agriculture population. So by definition, we know census town is defined by 3 criteria. Number 1, the population should be 5,000 people. The density should be 400 people per kilometer square. Okay, and out of this population, 75% male workers should be engaged in non-agricultural activity. So non-agricultural. Okay, so in your question, the density criteria is not mentioned, just the population and the occupation. So population wise, less than 5,000 is incorrect. So option C and D eliminated directly. Option A, more than 5,000, B also more than 5,000. So far we are good to go. More than 75% engaged in non-agricultural occupation, yes. They should not be engaged in agriculture but non-agricultural occupation. Then it will be called as urban area and the name is going to be census town. Okay, there are 2 types of towns. One is census town, one is statutory town. Census town is by census. We have the understanding that yes, it's an urban area. Statutory town comes from the word statute, meaning law. So by law, it is an urban area. So maybe it has municipalities, municipal corporations, these kind of authorities are there. That is why it is called a statutory town. Okay, moving to the next one. Sir Ebenezer Howard gave the concept of green city, blue city, walkable city or garden city. We know the answer is garden city, correct? Ebenezer Howard, a very prominent name in the world of urban planning and urban design, so gave the term or the concept of garden city, which was based on the concept of 3 magnets. So the 3 magnets were town, country and town country. Town mein there are some positives and negatives. In country, that is the rural area, there are some positives and negatives. And combining the positives of the other 2 magnets, you have the third magnet, which is the town and country. So let's say town, country, and this is the town country. In this magnet, you will only have the positives of town, only the positives of country, and there are no negatives. So very utopian kind of a concept, very idealistic concept. And this town country was called as a garden city, or the concept was later changed on to garden city concept. Okay, so option number D is correct over here. Next, principle of civic survey before planning developed by. So if you look at the original question paper, the correct answer was not given and marks to all was given in this particular question. We have changed the options to accommodate the correct one, which is Patrick Geddes. So Sir Patrick Geddes, also called as father of modern town planning, okay, gave 2 very important concepts. First is diagnostic survey and conservative surgery. So these two very important concepts were given by Patrick Geddes. What he said was, if there is a problem in any urban area, you need to diagnose it properly through survey. Don't just randomly give the solutions, diagnose the problem properly and then only give the solutions. And when you give the solution, you have to be conservative about it. So we are assuming the analogy is with medical terms. So we are doing surgery as a solution, and when we are doing this surgery, we have to be conservative about it. Okay, so these are the concepts given by Sir Patrick Geddes, and civic survey can be thought of as your diagnostic survey only. Next, Dash near Delhi is the example of satellite town. First of all, what are satellite towns? Let's say there is this main city or the primate city. This has a problem of saturation. There is a lot of congestion in this particular city. So to take away some of its, you can say, saturation, or to take away some of its issues or problems, or to decongest it, we make certain satellite towns near this, very close to this primate city or the main city. There is going to be interdependence between these two towns, and these are going to act as magnets and are going to take the population from the main city towards it, first of all, and from rest of the country also. It is going to attract the population towards itself. So if someone was planning of migrating to this main city, now would migrate to these satellite towns. Those are satellite towns. Okay. So in Delhi, which one is a satellite town? Faridabad, Jaipur, Chandigarh, Rampur. First thing you have to know, it should be geographically very close to the main city, and there should be certain independence and certain dependence between the main city and the satellite town. So Jaipur, Chandigarh and Rampur are not geographically together, and they are different cities with their own history, with their own working administration and all. They are not dependent on Delhi. Okay. But yes, Faridabad is. So option A is correct. Other satellite towns of Delhi are Noida, Gurgaon, etc. Okay. What you can do is, you can look into the satellite towns of other main cities also. For example, Kolkata, Mumbai and so on. Okay, next. In Vedic period, Dash deals with many aspects of town planning, such as study of soil, climatic conditions, topography and orientation, etc. So when we study Vedic planning, when we study the details of Padmaka and then Dandaka and so on, we know that all that understanding comes from Mansara Shilpa Shastra. Okay, so option D is correct. Next, Dash is the central core of the town, containing business centers, civic centers, light shopping centers. So something like a CBD, Central Business District. Okay, the options are town center, transit hub, town hall and town library. So first of all, transit hub cannot be true. Transit lines are usually linear in nature and not central in nature. Okay, so this cannot be true. Library cannot be true, because library as a typology has a very specific work to do. Okay, it will not accommodate your business centers and civic centers and so on. So you have to choose between town hall and town center. For like a replacement of your CBD, we usually use the term town center. So option number A is correct. Next, the concerned town planning authorities can restrict or prevent the construction of certain structures in the city. Such legal actions are known as. The answer is given in the question itself. You don't even have to think much about it. So you are restricting or you are preventing. So it has to be preventive measures. Correct? As simple as that. But let's look into the other options also. Creative measures usually go ahead with something innovative, something artistic. They are not certain legal actions, and they do not restrict or they do not prevent. They promote artistic values and they promote creativity and they promote innovation. Okay. So A cannot be true. B, destructive measures. So we are preventing, we are not demolishing something. So destructive measures won't be true. And then functional measures. Functional measures are, first of all, not usually your legal actions, and they are talking about the overall functionality of the area instead of restricting or preventing something. Okay, so preventive measures is the correct answer for question number 7. Now moving on to the next question. Dash is done to collect information regarding natural resources and potentialities and to locate industries in different regions. Now there is a confusion in this. So civic survey and street survey cannot be correct. When we are talking about regions, it is either national survey or a regional survey. Okay, we have to understand which one is true. So dash is done to collect information regarding natural resources and potentialities and to locate industries in different regions. If you look at the definition of the national survey, you will find all these terms there. Okay, national survey mein region wise you are trying to allocate different resources. So yes, it is a part of national survey, and definitely whenever we are planning for any region, we need to know its potential, we need to know its growth potential, we need to know the resources available in that particular region. So any of the two can be thought of as being the correct answer. However, in your official answer key, option A has been given as the correct one, that is the national survey. Okay, so there was a confusion. Since we are talking about regions, we could have gone ahead with the regional survey also. Okay, next. Cul-de-sac consisting of approach road with a dead end, open end, semi-open end, partial open end. So what we usually do is, let's say this is the road that we are talking about and the road is ending over here, you have some building somewhere here. Okay, in this case we go ahead and give a cul-de-sac. How do we do it? We in the dead end part, we would extend this area as a rectangle or as a circle or oval, and then we would give certain place for the vehicles to take a turn from here and move in this direction. Okay? In India we usually drive towards the left, on the left side. So from the left side you are coming in, you take a turn like this and you are able to move in the other direction. This is how you usually give a cul-de-sac. So cul-de-sacs are for your dead end. Okay, and this was popularized in your Radburn principle, if you remember. Next, full form of HUDCO is. In your examination, direct questions from full form have also been asked. So apart from HUDCO, TOD, SEZ, URDPFI, okay, these or NHP and many other acronyms you'll have to look into. Apart from that, there are certain policies and programs of the central government of India. For example, Hriday, JNNURM, Amrit, PMAY, etc. So there is a long list of all these schemes. You have to know the full form of each of these. Okay, can be asked in your examination. We have seen in the previous years there is a pattern of asking full forms directly or something related to the full form. So if you know the full form, you have the answer, something like that. Okay, you can also look into TDR. And there's a long list. Okay, so now the full form of HUDCO is Housing and Urban Development Corporation Limited, Housing and Urban Design Corporation Limited, Housing and Urban Development Company Limited, or Housing and Urban Development Construction Limited. So the correct answer is Housing and Urban Development Corporation Limited. So this is a private sector institute which deals with giving finance in the housing sector. So अगर कोई ऐसा है who has to work on some research and development in the building material industry, for example, उन्हें भी ये लोन प्रोवाइड करेंगे. किसी हाउसिंग सेक्टर में किसी को भी लोन प्रोवाइड करता है, that is HUDCO. You have to remember that HUDCO is a public sector institute. ठीक है? Okay, moving to the next one. Dash can be considered as the main shopping center which meant to serve the entire town. We just now saw it. It is called as CBD, Central Business District, or maybe sometimes used as Commercial Business District. Okay, so option number C is the correct one. Other options in this are just given to confuse you. Okay, they don't mean anything in the planning terms. Similarly, in this also, the other three options were given to confuse you and they do not mean anything in the planning field. Okay, next. Dash is a temple town in South India with over 2000 years of history. Chennai, Madurai, Calcutta, Ahmedabad. So first of all, Calcutta and Ahmedabad are not part of South India or southern part of India. So that can be eliminated right away. Then you have Chennai and Madurai. Though important buildings, important temples and a lot of temples are found in both these towns, if you are talking about the term of a temple town, that is given to Madurai. Okay, so option number B is correct. Next, Doxiadis laid the base for theory of human settlement planning, which is known as acrobatics, acoustics, metamorphosis, or semiotics. The correct answer is acoustics. And for acoustics, he had given 5 elements. So there is man, society, there is society, there is shell, network, and the most important, nature. Okay? So we do understand the meaning of nature, we understand the meaning of man. It's a single person that we are talking about. A group of man or a group of human beings will be called as society. So we human beings are social animals, correct? We've heard it so many times. So another element that is given with man is society. Okay. Next, shell. Shell essentially means shelter. Okay. We human beings want to protect ourselves, we want to have shelter. So it's not only the housing that we are considering, any building that gives us shelter is going to be considered as a shell. For example, if we are talking about institutional buildings, if we are talking about commercial buildings, even they will be called as shells. And then finally, under networks, you have all your communication lines and your transportation lines. Basically, network that is connecting people together. Okay, so all your communication and transportation, as I've told you. The correct answer again is B. Acoustics is the name of the theory given by Doxiadis, or you can also find the name written as C.A. Doxiadis. Okay, it's one and the same thing. Next. Dash is one of the basic and inevitable element of a development plan. First of all, what is a development plan? If you look at the URD-PFI standards, you will get that there is a hierarchy of the plans prepared in India. Okay, these plans are not your architectural plans. I hope all of you are urban planners and urban designers. You know what we are supposed to mean over here. Okay? So development plan is basically a report prepared for a city. So first you have the perspective plan, which is prepared for a state or at a state level. Then you have a regional plan prepared for a region. For a city, you have the development plan, which is sometimes also called as master plan. So that is for a city. And for a neighborhood level or for a local area level, you have local area plan, LAP, for a local area or for a neighborhood. Okay. This is the hierarchy that you will get in your URD-PFI standards. Now in development plan, what all is mentioned? The entire survey with respect to the location, the geography, the climate, the demography, the economics, the environment, the housing sector, the social infrastructure, the physical infrastructure, everything is mentioned with respect to the existing scenario. After which analysis is done, usually SWOT analysis, after which strategies are given for improvement of that particular city. So which of the following is a basic and inevitable element of a development plan? Land use, landscape, land price and land concept. So the answer definitely is land use. Land use is telling you what the parcel of land has been put use to, and there are 10 categories and around 43 subcategories. I'll have to check, it's either 42 or 43 subcategories of this land use, and this detail you will find in NBC. Okay, for example, residential land use, commercial, public, semi-public, special, etc. So all these details you will get, and land use is essentially a major part of your development plan. Okay, then land price is usually not a part of your development plan. Landscape Yes, we do talk about parks and gardens as a part of your social infrastructure, and we do talk about environmental survey and the existing scenario of environment in that particular city, but we essentially don't go into the landscape part. Okay. Then land price, as I've already told you, it's not a part, and land concept, it's a very vague term used over here. Sometimes in your strategies, yes, land pooling techniques, so land accommodation techniques or acquiring techniques are usually mentioned, but land concept is a very vague term used over here. Even if not, we know land use is very important and a very crucial part. So definitely more weightage goes to option number A, and that has to be the correct one. Okay, next. Following are the crucial elements of social infrastructure for any urban area. First of all, your overall infrastructure is divided into two: physical infrastructure and social infrastructure. Physical infrastructure would include things like roads, water supply, drainage, solid waste management, sanitation, etc. And social infrastructure usually includes those institutions or those infrastructure, that kind of an infrastructure that is used by the society in all. Okay, cannot be used by individuals and cannot be given for a single individual. For example, your schools, hospitals, parks, gardens, museums, recreational areas, all these are part of your social infrastructure. Again, this has been mentioned in your URD PFI guidelines. You can go and check the details. Coming to the options here: aviation and airport facilities, port and maritime facilities, bus and railway terminal, education, health, recreation and culture facilities. We know option D is correct. Okay. Aviation and airport facilities, if we have to put it under some category, it will definitely come under physical infrastructure. Port and port facilities also, and bus and railway terminals will also come under physical infrastructure. And if you have to narrow it down, it will come under transportation survey or transportation infrastructure. Okay. As far as the question goes, social infrastructure is option number D. Next, floor space index is the quotient obtained by dividing the total covered area on all floors by the area of the plot, neighborhood, city, region. It has to be plot. Something that we have been studying since our first year of civil engineering or architecture, and definitely has a understanding in our urban planning and urban design as well. So FAR or FSI is equals to total built up area divided by total plot area. You can write this formula down, and in your examination even basic numerical questions can be asked from this understanding. Okay, so very important for you. Next, the National Housing Policy identified following 4 core areas for improvement of housing sector. Okay, this is NHP, National Housing Policy, which was the first housing policy in India. After that, you have many others also. This is the first one. So, following core areas, which are the areas that it focused upon? So, supply and management of land, rural housing, legal and regulatory framework of housing finance, then new building bylaws, land pooling mechanisms, open spaces and housing loans, green spaces, transportation systems, slum resettlement and public utilities, and blue and green infrastructure, mass transport and public finance. So the correct answer is the first one. NHP, first of all, doesn't talk about green spaces and transportation system. It does not talk about blue and green infrastructure. Blue and green infrastructure as a term was introduced much later. Okay, that is not in the era of the urban housing policy. Next, building bylaws and land pooling mechanisms again was not a part of your national housing policy. One hint you can get is it was talking about housing sector. Okay, so land pooling mechanisms or open spaces cannot be a part of that. Yes, housing loans or maybe new building bylaws can be, but if you read into the details of the NHP, it's not mentioned in that. And option number A makes much more sense. So supply and management of land, rural housing, legal and regulatory framework, and housing finance. So NHP was basically there was a lot of housing shortage during that time, and everybody was talking about how to take care of this housing shortage. So we know that we got independence, India got independence in the year 1947, after which there was a lot of migration between the countries and within the country also, which put up the challenge of the housing sector, or shortage of houses in the sector. So that became a very major issue, because of which NHP was introduced. Okay. Next, DASH was set up in 1971 to meet the needs of the housing sector agencies for long-term financing in India. We've already looked into this. It's HUDCO. You just have to pick the correct answer over here. Do let me know the correct option in the chat box. It's a repetition. I'm not going to go into the details of this. Next, any predominantly residential area where the dwellings, which by reason of dilapidation, overcrowding, faulty arrangement and design of such buildings, narrowness or faulty arrangement of streets, lack of ventilation, light or sanitation facilities, or any combination of these factors, are detrimental to safety, health or morals, should be defined as. Okay, all the negatives have been noted down in this. It's a settlement, it's a residential area, and there are a lot of problems, there are a lot of issues, a lot of negative aspects that we are able to see over here. So settlement, no, not necessary that a settlement has everything negative. No, we have good settlements, properly planned settlements also. So no, settlement cannot be correct. Sector, again on the similar lines, sector is not negative. Okay. Street block, no. Slum, yes. Slum is a very congested area. It's a residential area. Sometimes you also have commercial activities going on in these slums, but predominantly it is a residential area. There is overcrowding, there is dilapidation, no proper physical infrastructure, no proper social infrastructure, narrow roads, you have issues of health and hygiene. Usually all these characteristics or all these adjectives are used for a slum area. So option number C is correct. And the last question for this part 1, the volume of traffic quantified by counting the number of vehicles that transverse a specific line or point within a designated time frame, expressed in the terms of, okay, passenger car limits, passenger vehicle units, passenger car units, or passage care units. Okay, PCU is your passenger car units. As I told you, there are so many terms of which even if you know the full form, you will be easily able to answer. The other names or the other terms used is just given to confuse you. They do not mean anything in urban planning or in transportation planning or engineering. Okay, so this is the end of part 1. If you have any doubt with respect to whatever we've discussed in this video, do drop a comment and we will reply to that. And stay tuned with us for the part 2 of GPSC PYQ solving. Thank you.
KP classes dedicated to excellence.